Megan, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Fifi.
I guess the story with EOH today, as it releases its financial results, it's less about the numbers and more about everything else that's gone on and what we can expect here. I do note that that forensic investigation into those suspicious payments, the figure was modified lower. So help us understand what went on there.
So in July, mid-July, we came out and said that there'd been 1.2 billion of suspicious payments. We've had ENS investigate that for us, so we've had a forensic investigation going on. We're probably about 80% the way through that 1.2 billion, and when we extrapolate the numbers, effectively there's 935 million that relates to no work or paying away or overbilling. So of that 935 million, we had 665 million that related to no work done. So it was invoices given into the company and basically money stolen out of the company. Then we also had 90 million of ED loans, where effectively this was another way of giving loans to people and there was no prospect or expectation that they would pay that back. And then the last bit relates to 180 million that we had overbilled our customers.
I mean, so this is your work specifically with the public sector.
Yes, that's correct.
And the question is now, I mean, how was this allowed to happen?
Well, I think when you try and look at the root cause of it, it actually comes back to governance and controls. And I think that's been probably the big story for us this year, is once we found this, we saw that there was a lack of control and governance within the organization. And when you don't have that second and third line of defense in the organization, things like that can happen. So key to our strategy has been bringing in a group risk officer. She's one of the board members, so we're taking this very seriously from a strategic perspective, and we're making sure we are putting things in place. For example, we never had internal audit in a listed environment. I mean, that's like unheard of. So we're putting in all those type of things, making sure we've got the right policies in place.
Except I do see you have a difference of opinion with your current auditors regarding this number. So what happens now?
Well, so effectively what happened is we wanted to make sure that from a shareholder and investor perspective, we had a clean balance sheet that was signed off. The auditors and ourselves both agree on the clean balance sheet. We've effectively written off 5 billion, 3 billion related to the current year and 2 billion related to the prior year. We put 2 billion into the prior year, and the auditors have qualified us on the basis of opening balances. They don't believe that that 2 billion belonged in the or in the prior year. We believe that it did, because we don't think that everything happened in the space of less than a year. I think it's been a while in the making, the amount that we've had to write off the balance sheet.
For sure. And I mean, you have announced that EOH will be pursuing criminal charges against former employees. I mean, who are these?
Well, so they're actually all employees who've exited the business. And
including management?
Well, some of them were in senior management positions. They've all exited, and they probably exited towards the beginning of the year, like February, March, most of them had left. We've lodged cases with FIC and then also with the Hawks in terms of Section 34 reporting. And so now it's really a criminal process that needs to go through the various proceedings of the criminal court cases and that.
So you said that you believe the worst is over. And for me, my question is, the worst maybe in terms of the suspect payments and the fraudulent activities that was allowed to go on for however long a period. But now your competitors in the sector, they say you don't kick a dog when it's down. Yeah, they're doing that. They're eating your lunch. And I mean, you did lose that Microsoft contract. And I just wonder, in terms of going forward, I mean, are any other contracts at risk by the fact that there's reputational risk of doing business with EOH right now?
Well, I think we've definitely felt the effect of the reputational risk. And after Microsoft broke, there definitely has been a bit of a slowdown from a revenue and contracting perspective, but we put a lot of hard work into going and speaking to our customers, explaining what we're doing, what kind of processes we're putting in place. And it's actually been pretty encouraging, the support that we're starting to see from corporate South Africa in terms of the fact that we are starting to do the right things, put the right governance levels in place. And we've actually got a lot, after we put out the ENS report in July, we've had a lot of customers who had previously actually blacklisted us. They had unblacklisted us. So
but now, what about the customers that you've blacklisted, the litigation list going forward, or litigation risk? Some of these guys are taking you to court, and you intend to oppose that. But what does that mean ultimately for the business and its ability to really focus on moving forward and growing shareholder value?
So those are actually like really smaller cases, and they relate to a lot of those ED partners that we blacklisted. So these were small businesses that were doing business with us, often subcontracting, and they now are taking us to court because they want their money, effectively, they want their stolen money from us. And we're opposing that, but I don't think that's going to be a major distraction for us.
All right. I suppose, I mean, they'd say, I mean, we didn't steal it per se. There was someone else on the other hand of that transaction, but we'll certainly catch up another day. Of course, that was EOH as a Chief Financial Director, Megan Pidagu.